What's up, everybody? Thank you guys for tuning back in with me. Do not forget to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. I would highly appreciate it. Anyway, let's get right into it. The Negro League and MLB have integrated finally. After many, many years of dissension and many, many years of separation, the MLB has finally decided to integrate the stats from the Negro League and put them where they belong with the MLB, the Major League Baseball stats, among baseball's greatest. Now, the Negro League, they had their greatest players as well. What kind of sparked the beginning of the Negro League? It's all because of prejudice and racism. Now, we're not here to play the race card on this channel, but we are here to tell facts. And the birth of the Negro League in 1920, now brothers were playing ball, organized ball a little bit before that, but it got more organized and a league got formed in 1920, the Negro League of baseball. Brothers loved to play baseball so much they formed a league, and some of the greatest, Josh Gibson, Buck Leonard, Satchel Paige, to name a few, really went on to really dominate the sport, really went on to dominate the Negro Leagues. And they actually had eyes on them from the Major League. And the thing about Josh Gibson, I kind of went into a rabbit hole once all this news kind of set off, that they were giving the brothers from the Negro League the proper notice and recognition that they've earned from rightful stats and the equivalent league to the Major League Baseball in America, where thousands of people showed up. They're giving them their just due. They're finally doing it because they know the story of baseball cannot be told without the Negro Leagues here in America. But picture all these black teams, several of them. They had black managers, black skippers, black owners. With this change of the stats, really puts things in perspective. It puts the people in history of baseball greats where they belong. And as I mentioned, I dove a little bit into Josh Gibson's life and went down the rabbit hole. Man, this man died at 35 years old from a brain tumor. Very, very unfortunate death. Born in 1911, dominated about 19 years old, 17, 18, 19. That's when he started to play professionally, dropped out of school to play ball, figured he was really, really good at it, had a long 16, 17-year career in the Negro League. The man was 35 years old and pretty much played all the way up into his death a year before, till he died. And he said, oh, no, I don't want to operate on my brain tumor. So that's been going on all these years because a brain tumor just doesn't develop. This happens gradually over years. So he's had the brain tumor, he's complained of headaches, but he plays all the way up until 1946, I believe. And 1947 is his death. Didn't want to operate on the brain tumor because he was potentially scared that it may affect his hand-eye coordination of some effect. So Josh Gibson ended up dying at 35 years old. They dubbed him the Black Babe Ruth. Some would say the Babe Ruth was the white Josh Gibson. Ended his career and had the highest batting average for a player now at 372, beating Ty Cobb, I believe, at 366. He is the most dominant player in MLB history that you never heard about. Never hear about this guy. But Black America, people who actually seen him play, they're slowly dying off. This is a very, very long time ago. But there's stories about this man and how far he would hit the ball, 600 feet, over 800 home runs. many and many of stats that he just dominated in several court categories. And he was a catcher amongst all. But some say he can play several. During back then, they played all different types of positions. One game you could be playing a catcher, and another game you can be playing an outfielder. But Josh Gibson excelled as a catcher. And he can hit that thing, boy. So integrating these stats, the MLB has corrected a wrong that's been highlighted ever since, the Negro League existed. They figured they can play with these boys. And they did in several exhibition games. They actually beat the major leaguers several times. And then they eventually stopped playing them because they were getting embarrassed in front of their home audience so much. So we've tried this before. So there is absolutely unequivocal knowledge that the MLB and the Negro League, or the Negro League, is equivalent to the MLB. There's absolutely no doubt. Because if they weren't, the Satchel Paiges, the guys who were able to transition would not be able to excel. Jackie Robinson's excel after their transition. They had to get their skill. They had to be up on a professional skill level at some point in order to be transitioned into the Major League Baseball. They didn't teach them to be major leaguers. They were already major leaguers in their own leagues. And then they cherry picked them, and eventually the whole Negro League died. Because this whole Jackie Robinson breaking the barrier and everything, actually he did break the color barrier in baseball, but he wasn't the first. Fleetwood Walker was the first. But he didn't get any credit for that. Jackie Robinson actually it was more of a social experiment type deal. The world was watching. Fleetwood Walker, he kind of squeezed in there and no one knew what took place. And this was before the actual, the league had some real relevance. But anyway, I believe it's a great thing. It's a good thing. It's a good day for all the brothers of the Negro League to get their recognition, get their day in history, and basically, hopefully, get paid from this. Their ancestors and their descendants can cut them a check now. Let us see some awards, a Satchel Paige Award. Let us see something more than enshrinements, more than plaques. They need more. Cut the family a check.